Hello and welcome to episode 225 of Quarkus Insights. We're going to be talking about Quarkus Roq in the real world with our special guest, Jérôme Tama. So welcome, Jérôme.
Hey.
So perhaps before we get started, you could give sort of a, because I know we've had you on Insights before,
Yes, we
talking
did.
about all sorts of different topics, which is cool. So perhaps, who are you? What's your involvement with Quarkus?
Yes. So, well, I'll talk about that a bit later, but essentially, I'm a maintainer of the Quarkus Minayo extension, and I've been contributing for a while now to Quarkus, like not a major one, but small contribution now and then, and been doing a few talks about Quarkus. Because I think every Java developer should know more about Quarkus. So,
Except for the Quarkus maintainers.
yeah,
They probably know enough, hopefully.
obviously.
Yeah.
And what else? So I am a Java developer or tech lead, depends on the day of the time. Obviously, I'm French, and well, I guess that's enough. Yes.
Are you
And,
saying that
and
that's enough because you're French, or that's enough because you don't want to talk anymore?
I don't know. I think I've said enough about me. I guess I work at one point for like a consulting company for, big IT migrations and those kind of things.
Excellent. Shall we jump into the slides and what you're going to talk about today?
Yeah. So if there's any no news.
Oh yes,
So
of course. Yes, we completely missed the opportunity to push the button and show the news slide, but I don't think we have any news, so it's all good.
that's
Yeah, we
so
were talking
sad.
behind the scenes that like releases are non-events these days, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was so expecting to have the famous push button and the news of the week. So I'm a bit sad, but I hope it's
Okay.
going to be better.
Nothing is too much for our guests. We have high standards of hospitality at Quarkus Insights. So, right. Do we have any news?
Oh no, that's so great.
I've been doing it for years and I still get excited pushing the button. Right.
Yep.
Now we can go to the actual news.
Yeah.
We can get one of our kids to come in next time and push the button because they get super excited about pushing buttons.
Yes, every kid should be excited to do that. So yes, we're here to talk about Quarkus Roq in the real world, and I've been thinking a lot about how should I, what path should I take to talk about Roq? Should I should I dive in, or should I go from simpler to harder? But then I told myself I will just tell you my path. So how I came to Roq and what I did with it, and how I my mind shifted in how I could use it. And so that is what we are gonna do. So I have to go back in time and whoops. Yep. Just you have to know that when I first heard about Roq, it was almost love at the first sight, and to tell you why almost and not love at first sight, which we all expect, I have to go back in time a bit. So it's been, I guess, 10 years that I've been hooked into documentation as code, because obviously I don't really like Word, and I've told you I'm a Java developer, so I'm not a front one, so I'm not really good at designing. And you will see that I'm not lying about that later in the demos. So for me, that was two main type of writer of documentation as code: the one who use Markdown and the one who use ASCII docs. And I was the second one because, I know Markdown is really popular, but I don't like Markdown, and especially I don't like its flavors. You always have to reason about if you are doing Markdown for GitHub or Confluence or dev.to, or I don't know. So I really liked about ASCII Doctor that there's only one way to do things, and it's always going to be the same at the end once it's generated. A few years later, I've met Quarkus. It was at Devox France, I think 2020, something like that. And as a Java developer, yeah, when you see the JavaScript and front-end ecosystem arrive in the scene with their hot reload and all their developer experience, and we were still, yes, I was using Spring, and I was still like, stopping my server, and we started it, and so when I got out of this conference about Quarkus, I said, okay, so finally someone in the Java ecosystem is trying to catch up with developer experience, is trying to save a bit of memory consumption, is trying to do all those things that people said, okay, Java is not good because it starts slow, because it takes a lot of memory. And when I saw that it was not like a new universal rule, but what the ecosystem has been developing too, I was really hooked up with Quarkus. So I started poking a bit with it, and my first accepted contribution was in 2020. So I have my I made Quarkus 2 shirts and my Quarkus 3 shirts. Can't wait to have the Quarkus 4 shirt. Yeah, and so it's 220, and I'm beginning to. I want to write a blog with some technical insights and all this stuff, but I don't want to have a full ecosystem for a simple blog, like a PHP server running on. I said I wanted low memory consumption, so I'm an old Java developer, and I came from the GSP time. So I really like server-side generation and static HTML sites and all those kind of things. Really easy to pop up, like just get an object storage and everything just works for the user. And so I read a tweet, I guess, or I don't know how you say it now. So of someone saying, hey, Quarkus Roq is out there. It's a static site generator built on Quarkus. So I said, ooh. And you know what? You can use it with Markdown. Ooh, and I was almost there. So I took a look at Roq, and my first contribution was to add the ASCII Doctor backend for Quarkus Roq. This was a really easy one because Quarkus is built on top of Qt, and Qt already knew how to deal with ASCII Doctor. So I just had to make a small bridge, and it worked. And well, it's about when I started using Roq and trying to convince other people to use Roq too. So maybe I can now show you what is the first thing I've done with Roq, and yes, we'll try to start from there. So yep, this site is obviously online, but I want to demo a few things. So this is the instance that is running locally on my laptop.
Can you make the text a little bit bigger?
Yes, I can. And this one's easy as it's a browser. Yeah. So obviously this blog is really like using the default Roq theme with its sidebar. But I've been poking a bit with the layout because I want the toolbar to be on top. And you can see, there's a CSS animation. I think it took me like half a day to realize. So I wanted to be able to blog. I wanted to be able to have series, to have tags, but also I wanted to have a simple way to find all the talks I am giving, and I wanted to be able to put there, like, title, abstract, if there's code related to it, if there's a YouTube video that's been taken from the conference, and so something like that, obviously, where you have the title, the descriptions. So this is French, sorry, the slides, the GitHub repository, eventually this is a link to a blog post, and the conferences I've been given a talk to, and the link for the video. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this is done very simply with Roq.
So I've got a question, and maybe you're going to talk about this later. Yeah. So I like you, I've done a lot of anybody who works in any of the Quarkus extensions or does frameworks has a documentation website, and it's usually either like Antora or MakeDocs or DocuSource or something like that. How easy is it? And I know easy is a word that we throw around a lot, but how easy is it to, like, if you have something written in MakeDocs, to convert it over to Roq, but keeping the formatting and the look and feel similar?
Yeah. So when you just Roq just know how to interpret Markdown. So basically, it is just gonna work, and your style is gonna work. Maybe the difficulty, like, I've been working with Antora, and Antora says, okay, this is how your folder should look like. So you have to have that kind of folder, that one that's named partials included, and you have like a mandatory structure, and it's not. You'll have to do a bit of twisting in your files, but I don't think this is going to be very hard. And I think in the Roq blog, here you have the documentations, and it was converted from the Quarkiverse documentation, which uses Anthora, and you see that here. So this is not that much work. If you already have the content, it should be pretty easy.
Excellent.
Which
so
I did not have
it. You offline over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not hard, but it takes time. Okay, so maybe an LLM could do that for you. Yeah. Anyway, so how I did that stuff. So as I'm a developer, obviously the first thing I am going to do is to build the model of my talks. So obviously this is a list. So I just created a record which has a list of talk. One talk, it has a title, a description, a link to the slides, etc., etc. Everything I've shown you before. And Roq allows you to put your content in a YAML file. So this is my YAML file. And it will automatically map that YAML file, provided it's in the data folder of your website, to the record I've just shown you. So you have the title, descriptions, slides, and everything. Okay, and I have to obviously render those talks. So this is done using Qt. Yeah, I don't have my navigation, sorry. So this is a Roq HTML classical page, which uses front matter to give some attributes. Here is the title of the page that I'm going to display, the description, which is not used here, and the layout. So here I'm saying, basically, the talks page should just follow the same layout as the default one, just add the content in the layout. Okay, and the YAML file has been automatically turned into a CDI object. Okay, and what's really great is that I have like type safety. I know that talks does not have items. It does not work, but it has a list. Yes, it works. And I know that I can have a title, I can have a code, a list of conferences, sorry, but I'm not going to do any errors, or if I do, it's going to show at compilation time.
So nice.
Yeah, really, really nice. Another thing to note here, that you should pay attention to, is that the description. On the description, I am applying the ASCII-doc to HTML function, which is a virtual method, and that allows me to pass the content of the description to the ASCII-doc to HTML renderer. Okay, and that is why I really like Roq and how it works, because now I can do things like I know that if we take a look at the talks, oops, sorry. Yeah, I have some kind of misformatting here. I would just like to have, Quarkus Minayo and the link, so I can just try and fix that. And say, okay. And we have to wait a bit, but that worked. And so you found the typical Quarkus developer experience where, yes, as Roq is built on top of Quarkus, we know we have out reload. And so the frameworks knows that this YAML file is really important. So Quarkus restarted, and NG implemented a hot reload on the front. So yeah, I can refresh myself, but even if I don't, it's just gonna work. And this is really, really nice.
So it's even liver than sort of a standard Quarkus application, because you don't have to hit refresh in the browser.
Yeah, exactly. So this is really how I write my articles, because I have two screens. So I have one screen with my IDE. Yes, I write blog post in the IDE because it's Java-like. And another screen which has the rendering, and I can see how it has impacts live. Am I wrong with my ASCII doctors tags? If I want to change anything. So this is how I write blog posts usually. All this here, of course, this is like ASCII doctor formatting. Okay, I have not done that myself. So this was the first thing I wanted to talk to you about. The second thing was, can I just go back? Yeah, okay. So I told you I really like documentation as code, and so I also like diagram as code, of course. Why should I have to render my diagram manually and then adding the image to my blog post for it to be rendered? It would like break my normal flow. Okay, so the first thing I've did was the following. I added the Merbed. I did the possibility to add a mermaid diagram in my blog post. So here's the diagram, and let me show you how mermaid works behind the scene.
I'm impressed by that diagram because I've used Plant UML and not Mermaid. And one of
Yeah,
the things I hate about Plant UML, I mean, I love the idea of Plant UML, and the
but
diagrams come out so ugly.
yeah,
And no one has yet written a plugin to make Plant UML diagrams look good, even though it
e-
seems like an obvious requirement. But that is not
exactly.
ugly. That is,
Yeah, this is mermaid, and this is exactly why I choose mermaid for this blog post. Because if I had choose plant.ml, everyone would have said, "Okay, but if this is ugly, I don't want."
yeah.
I do use it, but mermaid is like it's a more clickbait.
So are you really a back-end developer? It seems like you like pretty things and you like to spend time making things look pretty.
Yeah, well, I have to. If everything is ugly, no one's gonna read at my blog posts, and no one's gonna know about Roq. So I have to take care of it. So here's the blog post. So this is ASCII Doctor. You have the ASCII Doctor's attributes and everything. And here is like just a macro in ASCII Doctor saying, okay, don't care about this one. It's just let it go through you. And so here I have a special cute tag, which is mermaid cute tag. And I'm going to show you what the tag does. This is a really simple one. It says, hey, when you encounter this kind of things, just replace the tag by the pre markup, the pre balise. I don't know. Yeah. A pre tag in HTML saying it's of class mermaid, and you just put the content inside. Okay. The content being that string. Okay. And so in the rendering, you will just have a pre-balise with a mermaid class. Now, someone has to do something about it, obviously. And that someone is going to be, well, mermaid itself. So Roq comes with a web bundler, which means everything in that file, which is the main.js file, will be bundled. And mermaid documentation just said you have to put the mermaid.initialize script somewhere on your page, and I'll do the job for you. What's really great though is that I can make imports, and I have no package JSON of things of that kind. Everything is imported directly in my Maven file. So here you can see I have a dependency to Mermaid through MVNPM, which is really, really a great tool. And so I don't have to worry where is the Mermaid dependency come from. It's everything is bundled at the compilation, and you have tree shaking and small chunks and everything. And so it just works.
And that's super important too, because now you can use Dependabot and you staying in the same ecosystem.
Yes,
right?
this is really, really, really great. And I also have live reload. So isn't this beautiful? It is really beauty. Sorry. So it should take a bit of time, but yeah. So you have seen all refresh, but you've also seen that kind of blinking thing, like wait a second, I have to do something with your diagram. And I was not really happy with that blinking. And so as Holly said, Mermaid is nice, but my go-to is still Plant.ml. So I had to find a way to be able to write documentation using Plant.ml and make it just work. Okay, that should work like when we use ASCII Doctor or those kind of things. So to do that, I had to do something a bit more complicated. Sorry. Roq is using a plugin. So you have the core, which handles most of the things. But then if you want more features, you can use plugin. So it works just as Roq. You have the core and then the extensions. Roq tells you this is plugin, but in fact, it's just a really extension that we use for plugins. So I thought a bit and said, okay, so uh, can I find something that will be able to render an image for almost all kind of diagram as code, and that I can send my diagram and just get the image back at the generation time. And so that thing exists. It's called Croqui, which is a server. You give your payload to croqui.io and it will give you back the image. Okay, but I don't want every writers to have to plug themselves to Croqui because it's an external server. Maybe you just don't have the rights to call internet. But as I told you, a plugin is just an extension. And if we have an extension, then maybe we can have like dev services. So maybe we could have a container running with Croqui inside. And yes, this is exactly what I have done. So
that's so cool.
Yes. So I will try and to not dive too much into exactly how everything works because there's a lot of boilerplate. But yeah, once again, don't hesitate if you feel like it's gonna. I'm diving too much. So essentially, I've added a section helper. So a section helper is something that is going to say, okay, each time I see that you are using the diagram macro, then I know this is going to be my work to do the rendering. Okay, we have a few parameters. We can say which type of language this is: Plan2ML, Mermaid, Dot, yeah, and all those kind of diagram formats. What is the description of your diagram for accessibility reasons? What width, height, do you want PNG or SVG? And yeah, we have another one, which is ASCII doc, because Markdown just supports HTML when ASCII doc doesn't. So if your diagram is using ASCII doc, then I have to tweak a little bit the results. Okay. And essentially what the section helper does is, if I see a node that contains the diagram, I'm going to call the encoder, which I'm going to show you a bit later, and give you the result of the encoder. And this is what's going to be in the final HTML. Okay. So it's Quarkus code. So I just have to inject Croqui REST client using the @REST clients, and do a call to my to my Croqui server. Okay. Once I get the result back, which is the image in form of a byte array, I have to output it. If it's ASCII doctor, then I'm going to use the image macro. And if it's Markdown, then just pure HTML. And we use data URI here. So that allows us to encode the image directly in a URI format, data base 64 and everything. Okay. And my client, well, it's just a client that uses quarkus.rest Croqui dash API as a configuration property. So if you want to use the Croqui.io server as a backend renderer, you can, of course. But if you don't do anything and just add the plugin, then you will have a Docker, a container running for you. So let me show you just that. So I'm not gonna dive into the dev service processor because it's like really a boilerplate code, and I don't think whoops, I have to exit. Nope. Yes. Okay.
And now your fonts have gone a little bit small as well.
Yes. No issues. Of course. I am on 8, so I think I can zoom there on my account. Okay, so so here I can zoom. Is it big enough?
Tiny. I think it needs to. Yeah,
I think that's better.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
So, oops, I have to stop. Yeah, of course, that didn't work. So let me start. It's back.
Of course, the disadvantage of having the bigger font is that when you get a stack trace, you can't read the stack trace because it's all disappeared off the page.
Exactly, and I can't either go big enough. So yeah, it's already in use. I just wanted to show you, but maybe just I can just let me just okay, everything's back to normal, and I just wanted to show you yeah, so I do have a Croqui server which is up, and I am not recreating it because I asked my computer to reuse it because obviously it's stateless. So I just don't want to lose any time. Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And so now we can go back to the demonstration.
It's such a good use case for dev services. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it works on like GitHub Actions and everything. So it's really nice.
So we lost the font size again.
Yeah, I am doing just that. Better?
Yeah, I think that's better.
So now I can just show you another blog post. If Firefox has not gone mad. No, it has not. Okay, so for sample, maybe here. Yes. So this diagram here is using Plant2ML with a bit of tweaking to make sure it's not as ugly as normal Plant2ML.
That's better than my Neverlook. You're going to have to do another session on how you did that.
Yes. And the blog post looks like so how is it called already? I have to take a look back at technique avancée, okay. Yeah. So it's not the right one.
I always wish IntelliJ was
Yes.
more aware of static site generators and would not show you the generated code.
Yeah,
Because
it's a bit annoying, right? To say the least. So here's the diagram specific Qt macro I showed you, and so I said I'm using ASCII Doctor. This is plant2ml. The alt text would be so this is some kind of AHT simplified, and this is the width, the aids, the diagram output, and everything. And that outputs what I showed you. Whoops. And if you take a look at the source, you'll just see, well, this is the URI data encoded. So this is the result of a generation. And I could change the diagram and you would see that it has been re-rendered, but I guess now everyone has understood that we have hot reload, so we can move on to the next thing. So that was the first phase, the first era of me using Roq, and it was like, okay, I can do a blog. Okay, nice. And but then you can do many other things. So I just have to tell you that the diagram plugin is available on Roq, and I've made it open source. And this is kind of thanks to Quarkus, because it was the first open source project I contributed to, and I got the kind of idea that if you need it and if it's feasible, if it doesn't take too much time for you to open source it, then it would just do it. Someone else is gonna need it too. So, and the Quarkus Roq team is really nice, Andy and everyone else. So they're really helping, and so yeah. If someone's out there just has another idea and wants to contribute, is really welcome.
I think Andy is watching, so I think it's as well that you said Andy was nice, rather than saying, Roq is a great thing, but like that Andy person just,
Yes.
nightmare to work with.
Yes, and he didn't even paid me to say so. So the fact that he's French is great. Although sometimes he speaks to me in English, and I have to say, "Hey, Andy, I'm French too." Oops, sorry.
Andy, parlez-vous français?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I understand me. Most of the people he works with are English, so
that makes me feel a bit better, because whenever I talk to someone French, they answer in English. But if you talk to French people in French and they answer in English as well, then it's not just me.
yeah.
That's
No,
fine.
Andy does it. Yeah, of course he does. Yeah, yeah. That's Andy. So the next thing I was thinking, my wife's is a woodworker, and she used to tell me, okay, I need a simple way to show my work, but I really don't like your computers. I don't understand anything, and I want something really simple. Yeah, I don't really like working with her really sharp tools, and she doesn't like working with computers, so everything's fine. Okay. So yeah, Andy has to see someone, I guess. And so the website I'm just gonna show you is not online, because obviously she's not really happy with my designing skills. But just to show you how simple it is, I said, okay, so now I can do something like every craftsman could be able to make his own sites. So this is a list of her works, and you have like a title, you have a few photographies of her work, and a bit of a text to say what it is. So this is all translated thanks to LLM, and this is everything you're going to have in English. And this is really, really easy to. It's really easy to add a new blog post because, in fact, I've added for a new kind of collection. Roq by default has the posts collection, and I've added the projects collection. Inside a project, each folder is going to be a new project where you have other images you want to have in your sites. And yeah, I know it's markdown, but you'll see it's pretty empty, so it's fine for me. And you have all your attributes. So I told her, you just have to create a new folder, copy paste your images there, and do this small text where you can say what it is, what a small description, and all the links that you want for your slideshow. And this first one would be the miniature, okay, that we have. If I find my Firefox screen back. Nope. Yeah. So in the collection, the first image that you see is this one, and after that you just have a collection. So this is something she's done for her son, which draws a lot. And yeah, so I told her, even if I know you don't like computers, can you please just add one project of yours? And well, of course, she succeeded because it's really simple. So that's a real demonstration that you don't have to know Java or even computing or development skills to be able to add blog posts. So she would still had to know a bit about Git, but or she can even send me the folders and I just upload everything. So
the next part of that you're going to have to do is build an app that just has a form where you can just upload the stuff, and your app does all that stuff and pushes it to GitHub and all that fun stuff.
It looks like you've been speaking with Andy maybe, because it's one of the things that should arrive soon. He wants to be able to have a proper CMS content management system interface. And I think it's going to leverage the Dev UI, because we already have something that's able to work with the project workspace. So in fact, we have everything we need to do that, and we have Git clients and everything. So maybe soon we'll have that. And as Andy knows what everyone wants, I think it's going to have AI too using JP. So it's going to be awesome, but it's not there yet. So you'll have some news button to press only when it arrives. And the last use case, which I'm kind of proud of, was we go at conferences sometimes, and we were like last week in Bordeaux for BDX.io conference. And in our stands, we like to have small animations, and we wanted to do some kind of quiz. Okay, so here's the quiz. It's based on French game, and the goal of this game is to say how much you rate yourself on different kind of categories of questions. So let's say, is it Eric that's going to play the game, or is it Holly? I don't know.
I can play. I'm terrible at naming, so.
Yeah, so this one's easy. Your name, Eric.
You have no idea how many discussions Holly and I have about how to name things. Like,
yes,
what's the most appropriate way to name something?
I hope you did disagree and let small arguments on naming. That's when you prove you are a senior developer.
Yeah.
We can find better ways to waste time, right?
Yes, exactly. I don't know. It's fun to talk about naming and argue on some subtleties. So this one's a quiz. Every thing, every item here is another category, and so you can tell me, Eric, how do you rate yourself on a 1 to 10 scale? Of course, level 1 questions would be really easy, but you'll earn only 1 point, and level 10 question would be a bit more aggressive, hard to understand. But of course, the first category is not gonna be an issue neither for Eric or Andrew or Holly. But let's say we can say you are an expert now in Java.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sure. I was gonna say level 1 so I can make myself look good on camera, but
level 10 question: what is the goal of the Leiden project?
You're gonna have to translate here. Is that speaker response?
What?
The button voir.
Yeah, see the response. Excuse me, I've not translated that. So you ask the question to the guy in front of you, and when he gives you the response, you can see. So the Leiden project is here to improve startup time, reduce the time to reach peak performance, and everything. And if you're happy, okay, and you can go to the next category. So at the end, you'll have a leaderboard with all the players that's been running. So currently, that's Eric. He has 9 points because obviously he's really strong in Java, and I had correct answers and this kind of things. So for this quiz application, I had a front-end developer that's that did the CSS HTML. I had a DevOps guy to ask questions about Kubernetes. We have a section about women in tech because we know there are not enough women in tech, but do we know the great women that's been in tech already? It's important. And I guess one of the questions is, who's the first developer in the history of programming? And yes, she's a woman, as it's the famously Ada. And so I think there's not enough people who know that. So everything you see here, even though it doesn't look like a static generated site, I know, don't tell me. All the content is already there. You have the questions, you have the answers, and of course, we only have a bit of JavaScript to make things be able to show, not show, and everything. And that's again something really easy to do. I have some YAMLs like the woman in text. Again, some front matter articles, questions, answers. Again, this is this time it's marked down because they didn't let me the choice, and there were much more numerous than me. I was alone, and there were 5, and they said we want to mark down. So
Although I think that answer for Lovelace is wrong, though, because you've got it as the calculating machine. But we all know programmers turn coffee into code. And so if she was a real programmer, she would have been working on the coffee machine.
Yeah, maybe the good answer would be both.
Yes, both.
Yes. So I'll make them correct that when the interview is over. So this is a typical example of what we can do with static site generation. And I'm trying to take a bit of time to turn that site into a template so that can into a theme, in fact, which is something that exists in Roq. So that someone can say, okay, I want to start a Roq project. I want to add the quiz theme. And here it just has to add its own categories and questions, and it would just work. And it's why I like Roq. First, I'm a Java developer, so when something does not work as expected, I can fix it. I can just look at the code and fix it. And but most of the time, things just work. And there was one final thing I wanted to show you, which is the last thing I'm working on. And okay, so this is the following. Yeah. So you've heard I'm French, and you've seen that I write mostly in French because we need to have a technical literature in every language, not just English. But sadly, when you write a blog post in French, you have like 10 readers, and if you do the same in English, you have 100 readers. So I have to make myself, and I'd like to be able to have like blog posts that's in French and in English and in Spanish and everything. So this has not been released yet, but you should see it come live. So this is a normal blog post with nothing special. And this one, yes, this one I've been translating in French. So you have that kind of a special toolbar. And if I go there, whoops, you have your article in French. So it's not listed in the blog post here, but you can access it from your blog post. So you can have you can have what I've just showed you, multi-languages blog posts. It's something I've been really excited about because it's a feature that's missing in big sites like dev.to or those kind of big platforms. You have to choose your language, and well, sometimes you want, and sometimes you want to be able to choose both languages. So yeah, this is to come. Well, I hope very soon. I have to
really
discuss
cool.
a few things with NVIDIA first. And it was about all I had to show you today about Roq and what you can make with Roq. Of course, there are many, many more things we could talk about, but we just have 1 hour, and you can find many, many documentations in I Am Roq. And so, yeah, if you want to start using Roq and tweaking Roq and make it your own, you have a real good base documentation, and we are also available on Zulip, so you can just talk to us.
Excellent. That's so cool. That's such a nice range of use cases. Yeah, especially the quiz. It's so much more dynamic than you would necessarily think, like static site generation.
Yes, this is why I wanted to talk to you about the quiz, because when you think about static generation, you always think either about blogging or a technical documentation. Eric mentioned Anthera or MKDocs. But in fact, we just don't need SPA to rule over the world. We can just have the content that's already there and just have JavaScript to just flip classes. Essentially, this is what the JavaScript does in this site. It's just flipping classes. And everyone was able to contribute to the application. It's available on GitHub, and it uses the Roq GitHub Actions. So we even have a preview for pull request. So when someone submits a pull request to another questions or a typo fixing, he can see the results. And so I won't read your code anyway because it's only YAML. I'll just see, okay, does it looks good? Yes, it looks good. Okay, then merge, and it's ready to go.
Really nice.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'm definitely going to take a look at it because I'm like in the middle of building a brand new documentation site. So maybe I'll ping you and you can help me out.
Yep. Oh, and Andy's just added as well that they're working on static for Roq, so you can use FM powers.
Yeah, front matter.
Oh, okay, yep, for the static part, and then keep Quarkus for API and state. So, we can do a lot more with static than we think, but of course, sometimes you do need the state and the API. And so then to have them, yeah, that's really nice.
Yep. Yeah. And we've showed you how we can use a CDI object directly in the Qt templates. So you could, of course, imagine that your CDI object is linked to, I don't know, a database, REST API, or even an LLM if you want. So yeah, you could do everything with an hybrid approach. But yeah, my first use case were really, I want to generate things once and use it many, many, many times and save energy, and So you've made a talk, Holly, about zombies.
Yes.
So if I don't pop up a server at the first place, I don't have to worry about closing it, so stopping it. So yeah, this is why I really, really like static site generation.
Yeah, and especially with Roq, the sort of the really cool thing is that you avoid all of that hassle of server management, but you still get the development experience of the server, which is what we're used to and what we want and what we find easiest.
Yes, and even like you don't have to juggle between npm package management and Java package management. You don't have to be able to understand the gem model if you don't want to use Roq. And I really, really don't like using Ruby, which was one of the path before for static site generation. So yeah, I think it's really easy to use, kind of all-in-one, battery-powered static site generator. And yeah, I have some really front-end developer colleagues of mine who said, maybe that's a nice thing you have here with Roq, and maybe I could use it. Yes, of course you can. And so maybe, I am not sure, but we are kind of discussing a Roq moving our technical blog and my company to Roq, because we can do just exactly anything we want. And we have some like accessibility specialists, and they said, oh, I'm not going to be able to put my hands on the rendered HTML. And I said, yes, of course you'll be able to do that. You'll have full control, and we'll be able to try to be exemplar. I don't know if it's yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't say be accessible if you're not yourself.
Yeah.
And we can, and there's also a lot of features that are coming to Roq, like image processing, to be able to have source sets, and yeah, all those kind of really, really cool things from a front end point of view. That's going to be handled for us by Roq. So yeah, very exciting features to come to arrive soon in Roq.
Cool. Yeah, lots to look forward to. Well, thank you so much, Jérôme. Super, super interesting tour of some of the things that you've been doing. And yeah, I learned a lot, and hopefully others did as well.
Yeah.
Any final comments or questions, Eric?
I don't think so. I'm definitely offline. I have lots of comments and questions. But I'm kind of selfish in my use case. So.
Well, I wanted to thank you for hosting me on Quarkus Insights. It's always a pleasure to be here and to be able to talk about something you really care about. And so, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing your expertise. Yeah, really useful.
Yeah. Now, all my colleagues are going to come at me and say, oh, your English, that was really ugly. Yes.
Well, yes. They can come along next.
Yeah, maybe I think it's what I'm gonna tell them. Yeah.
Yep. The door is always open.
There.
Oh, so you can take the recording and feed it to Gemini, and Gemini can just say, "This is French. Whether you like it or not, this is French."
Exactly.
Fantastic. See you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.